Hi, I'm Robin Neiman. I'm from Snug Recording Company, and I wanted to do a video that talks a bit more about preparing for coming into a recording studio. 5 things that you should consider. Okay, number 1. Do you know the song? That sounds like it might be a really obvious thing, but the amount of people that come in and maybe the first time that they actually hear what the other people in the band are playing on their song is in the studio. You need to know the song inside out, and you need to make sure that it's really finished. There's plenty of room for experimentation in the studio, and some brilliant things do happen. There are plenty of times where you capture lightning in the bottle in the studio. You couldn't have planned it. You know, something just happens and it's perfect and it makes the song. The thing is, those are the exception to the rule. Usually those are when you are comfortable improvising, or when you've at least got an idea of what it is that you want to try out before you start. The thing that makes the song is usually going to be really good performances that help to convey the excitement, the emotion, and everything that your song is about. So making sure that the song is written and that you all know it is really, really important. Point number 2 sort of follows on from point number 1, but it's thinking about the arrangement of the song. And when we talk about an arrangement, we are talking about the instrumentation, what instruments are playing what parts, and we're talking about the structure of the song as well. You know, you've got a standard kind of verse-chorus structure and things like that. What happens in the second verse that's maybe different from the first? Is it just that the lyrics are different? Do you need to think about whether you vary the instrumentation? One of the things that a lot of people don't think about is dropping out, so taking things away. So maybe you've established a few melodies and harmonies and things like that in the first verse, and actually taking some of those away and bringing down the level of things can help to leave some room to build everything back up later. Also thinking about what instruments are playing together. If you want your chorus to really punch and really like explode out of the speakers, but your bass player is suddenly playing a really high part, then maybe you need to think about what your guitars are doing. Someone needs to take up that low end. So it's thinking about things in terms of frequencies, in terms of who's taking the weight of the song. Is there enough interest? Are there enough hooks? Is there something to keep you listening? It kind of helps to visualize your song sometimes as like a cityscape or something like that. Like, where are the big peaks? Where are the sort of tall buildings, and where does it drop down? You know, where's the interest? How are you constructing an interesting landscape out of your song? Point number 3 is your equipment. Does your equipment do what you need it to do? It's absolutely fine that you might not be able to afford an incredible guitar amplifier or something like that, or your drum kit might be a little bit ropey. That's fine. Just make sure that the studio that you're coming into has some equipment that you can use instead of that, or look at hiring in something. If you know that you need something specific, make sure it's available to you. Think about your drums. Do they need reskinning? Do they sound dull? Do they have the right kinds of skins on? Another big one is guitar strings. Guitar strings that are fresh will have a different sound. They will be a lot brighter and have a lot more life to them. That may not be what you want for your song, but you should at least consider it. So think about your equipment, think about whether it's all reliable, whether it's creating the sound that you want, and whether it's right for you to play. Okay, the 4th point. We should talk about the performance itself. Are you comfortable playing it? That's a question that a lot of people find difficult to answer and difficult to ask themselves. But a lot of the time, if we're overreaching at our instruments, or we're trying to get away with playing something that we're not quite capable of, sometimes it's better to assess that situation and decide to maybe simplify things a little bit. It's much better to get a great performance of something that you can play solidly and confidently than it is to try and achieve something that maybe you just haven't had time to learn. You know, maybe you haven't had enough rehearsal time with. So rehearsals and performance, they go hand in hand. When it comes to recording, if you rehearse maybe once a week normally, maybe you should look at ramping that up a little bit in the run-up to your recording session. There's probably a lot to be said for almost getting bored of playing a song to really get into it. So you want to get to a point where you have played this song so much that just playing it and just being able to run off a good take of it should be second nature. It shouldn't be a struggle at all. That's the point where you can really start thinking about whether you could be doing a little bit more or trying some new ideas in different places. Sometimes the excitement of having a new song is quite alluring. You know, I think for a lot of bands and artists, their newest song is the best thing that they've done ever. Sometimes that can be the case, but usually it does need more work. And sometimes it takes a few months of playing a song before it's really bedded in and before you've explored all of the ways to get the most out of it. Okay, final point, number 5. This is a bit of a cheat point because it's kind of a mixture of everything that we've talked about already in this video. That is pre-production, just as a whole process. Maybe talk to your engineer, talk to your producer about whether you can arrange a pre-production session with them. This could be that they come to your rehearsal room and have a listen to the song. It could be that you come to the studio and maybe do a really rough, quick recording of it, something that you can take away and just analyze a little more critically than you might be able to in a loud rehearsal room or something. You'll also get the benefit of having a fresh pair of ears. So your producer or engineer will be able to give you some advice on the song maybe and just sort of say, have you thought about this? You know, ask some of the questions that we've been talking about in this video. And make sure that you've thought about those and that we've explored all of those kind of angles. It'll also give you a chance to think about your individual performance. Think about how it works with the other members of the band. You know, you're not kind of in a rehearsal room sort of situation necessarily. You're just concentrating on one song. Does it sound right? Where are the opportunities to make it better? And that's all that we're concerned about. Where are the opportunities to make it better? We're not talking about coming in and ripping it apart or telling you it's no good or anything like that. It's your song. You believe in it. You should try and do everything you can to make sure it's the best that it can be. And you don't want to be stressing on the day of recording. You don't want to be feeling like it's unfinished or feeling like you're not confident playing it. So pre-production is really, really useful. It doesn't have to be a live playback or anything like that. Maybe you can demo stuff at home. That's great. If you've got a setup that you can just do a basic recording of your song and hear yourself performing it, you'll be able to listen to that when you're not concentrating on playing it. You'll be able to listen to that when you're just waiting for a bus. And you'll be able to analyze that differently. So that's kind of a really condensed 5-point little system for thinking about your music before you come into the recording studio, making sure that you're best prepared, because you don't want to spend loads of extra time and derail your session because you weren't prepared. So if you can think of anything else that we've missed, pop that in the comments. If this was helpful, let us know. And thanks very much for watching.